Have you ever heard of the closet principle?
The closet principle?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's kind of a...
Are we talking about homosexuality? What are we talking about?
No, not coming out of the closet.
I didn't know if you had a big announcement.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Yeah, absolutely. You could put that on the intro.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Overlap Podcast. And if you're just checking in for the first time, or you're checking in for, you haven't been around for a while, the Overlap Podcast is where we discuss and study the overlaps between work, fitness, family, faith, parenting, and leadership. Lots of overlaps there. With the idea that becoming better in one aspect of your life helps you become better in all aspects of your life. And we're trying to simplify big business brilliance for small business leaders. And that was really the genesis, the idea, the heart of which we started this podcast, where my man Keith, good morning, Keith.
Good morning.
Keith Klein.
I think it's afternoon right now, but that's okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's no windows.
And, Tim says that we should not say the time of day, but I really don't care what he thinks.
I do care what he thinks, but I'm a creature of habit. Yeah.
Tim, we love you.
Tim is our producer, and he listens to every aspect of this podcast, and God bless him for that.
And kind of critiques at a level that's making me nervous.
Better? Oh, that you were going to say making you better.
He's definitely making us better.
Well, Keith, there's no growth in the comfort zone, as you know.
That's correct.
Okay. So I was saying that we try to simplify big business brilliance for small business leaders, and the idea behind that is Keith and I kind of consume lots of podcasts, and most of it is geared towards big business stuff with corner or C-suite people talking about the 1,000 employees on their team or something like that, and those concepts are actually pretty good if you boil them down for a small business, and I do believe that they're actually good in our life too. Keith, in our discussions before the podcast, would really see all the overlaps between work and parenting and everything else, and so that's what we're doing, and we appreciate you guys listening in. Thank you.
That's what life's about, I think, is the overlaps in all that.
Is it?
Yeah.
Man, that's probably for another podcast.
I know. But
we could have a whole series.
Yeah.
What is life about? I would say relationships. You would say the overlaps. I don't know.
And that would include the relationships.
Ah, that's a good point. But today, my good man, Keith is fired up about a topic. It's a damn good topic, and it's one that is really misconstrued by a number of people, especially if you're in the EOS world, which we are, and we talk about it freely. And by the way, if you need a software to run your business that's on EOS, you should probably use, what is the software, Keith?
90.
90, that's right.
Yeah.
EOS is hard enough to kind of get up and get off the ground with lots of things going on, and 90 makes it super easy, super intuitive.
It does. I say all the time that I learned EOS because of the software versus the way that most people incorporate EOS, like you.
Well, I mean, I did. I read the book. I read Traction, and it made lots of sense, but I didn't know how to implement it until I read Get a Grip, which is like the business fable where you get to read the story about how a business implemented EOS. And I was like, aha, eureka, I see it. And so then I went about trying to self-implement, and I got about as far as I could with that. With my old age, I've gotten some humility and going, I don't know if this is a good idea for me to fully self-implement. So reached out to like a fractional implementer, and that was okay. You get set up with spreadsheets and everything until I got it hooked up with Forrest, and we started doing this energy meeting that we talk about on this podcast. I just didn't really know 90 was, I knew it was out there, but I didn't realize how valuable it was. And it actually made me go from using about 25% of EOS to maybe using 80% of it. Yeah. That quick.
Yeah. And, you knew my attention span. And so when I started asking you about EOS, you were like, look, there's a great audiobook called Get a Grip.
Yeah.
Start there.
Yeah.
And that was good because it's in story form and I could get it.
Well, I can see the picture in my head.
Yeah.
You know, the textbook, I can make sense. I've read enough textbooks that I can like make sense of it. But I feel like I learn better with the experience of the story.
Well, yeah, it's like the coloring book for EOS. So thank you for not sending me down the, academic traction route first.
You're welcome. That's probably a pretty good segue to if you are running on EOS or really any other company, and you're actually getting serious about running your business and navigating the choppy waters, let's just say that we are in right now. And I think that's a fair statement to say that it's pretty choppy. I mean, it's not, I wouldn't say it's 10-foot seas right now. And, we've got, whatever you call it. There's no like threat of getting capsized yet, but it's pretty weird out there. Fair statement?
Absolutely. And if you don't believe it, listen to our podcast about the markets.
Yeah, thoughts on the market. I think that was 142. Yeah. So
go back and listen to that.
That's 4 or 5 weeks ago. So
Gaza matters.
That, and inflation matters.
Right.
Inflation, interest rates matter. Hopefully by the time you listen to this, there will be something going on that. I've heard lots of reports. It's almost 100% chance that there'll be at least 0.25%, maybe 0.5% rate cut. Some saying 0.75% rate cut, but I doubt that that's happening.
There'll be a lot of refinancing going on. I think the rule is 1%.
One solid percent. So
yeah,
that might be the next rate cut around Christmas.
I need that.
You do? Yeah. Me too. Yeah. Actually,
I would probably do it for 1%.
Yeah. We went off on a tangent. Sorry, but
however, I think it still applies to the topic today.
It probably does.
This topic's like rocked my world over the last few weeks. I've been telling you.
You have, and what me? Let me set you up here, Keith, before you tell our audience how it's rocked your world. But if you're running on EOS or you're serious about running your business, you probably have heard and you probably know that you need a dashboard of scorecards. I like to use the word dashboard because if you're driving a vehicle, you don't have 57 things to look at, You've got, speedometer, tachometer, you've probably got oil pressure, you've probably got engine, temperature. And that's about it for the most part, right? You might have, you probably, let's just be honest, you probably got Apple CarPlay and you've got your GPS where you're going and all of that stuff. You might have the range in which your vehicle can run until it runs out of gas. At this point, we're probably at 7 things that you look at, and that's for operating a motor vehicle in traffic, out of traffic, off-road, whatever, in any scenario, and that's a pretty big deal. If you're going to run a business, you can't have 57 numbers. And so you take the lead here because you were talking about setting up scorecards, and this rocked your world.
Oh, it definitely well, it simplified my life.
Yeah.
Should I say, because as we all do, when we begin building a dashboard for our company to run off of, we have way too many indicators.
Yeah. It's just a natural thing. You think you want to gather and collect more information.
Then you really need to.
Right.
Because then the data becomes hard to read at that point.
Everything gets watered down. I like to say if everything's important, then nothing is important.
Right. And so what we're talking about today is having an indicator for your business and leading indicators versus lagging indicators.
All right.
And I'll be real honest with you. I was maybe ignorant on what until I really started breaking down what leading and lagging were.
Okay.
And let me tell you how. So many times we think the calls that coming to our business would be an indicator, a leading indicator. It's actually not.
Number of calls.
Number of calls.
Okay. It could be a measurement in your marketing world, like what's the efficacy of your marketing, but carry on.
But the actual marketing is the leading indicator, right?
What's going to generate the call?
what generates the call.
Yeah.
Because so many times I'll be like, we need to look at revenue. And we do need to look at revenue. But more importantly, we should look at what generates the revenue.
Yeah.
What action leads to the revenue coming in the door.
Yeah. That's right. So I like to think of it, so we generally have a few things, what are our sales this week, this month, this quarter, this year? What is our gross profit this week, this month, this quarter, this year? Or what is our revenue, something like that. Then what's our net profit or whatever, what's our take home, our EBITDA, whatever you want, or EBITDA or whatever. Man, I've heard that thing. We should do a whole podcast on all of the different pronunciations of EBITDA.
Well, you know what Charlie Munger said about EBITDA.
I understand that. He's an investor, not a business owner.
I get it.
Yeah. If you're building to sell, EBITDA is the enterprise value in which your business is marked to market. That is. Charlie Munger is, rest
But
his
if
soul.
you're looking to invest in a company, it's probably not the indicator that you want to go
It's not
by.
the best indicator if you're an
Right.
investor. But if you're an M&A guy, mergers and acquisitions, that's the number you're using.
Well, right.
They all
Yeah.
use it.
I want to tell you about one of our newest sponsors, Red Branch Outdoor Living. They create environments to bring people together by providing a turnkey solution for outdoor living with remarkable customer experience. They specialize in outdoor kitchens, pavilions, patios, pools, spas, and fire features. And they do it with integrity, innovation, and being remarkable. They did my outdoor space, and it turned out amazing. Check them out at redbranchconstruction.com.
I want to give a shout out to a friend and sponsor of ours, Chris Drogmiller from CMD Fencing. Let me tell you, I've had the pleasure of working with Chris personally over the last 3 or 4 years, and I've never encountered a fence contractor who excels in communication, craftsmanship, and timeliness like he does. Chris always delivers. I mean it. Fair prices, top-notch work, always on budget, and the best part for me, always on time. So if you're in need of a fence company to help you with a fence or any other outdoor wooden structure, give Chris a call. You won't be disappointed. Get in touch with Chris and let him and his team take care of all your fencing needs. CMD Fencing. Back to it. So everyone looks for revenue, sales, they might do what's our productivity, like what's our labor percentage or what's our sales per hour, some sort of measure of efficiency. And then, what's our net profit or EBITDA? What are our earnings? That's another word for EBITDA. What's our cash versus our short-term liabilities? There's all these things that are very good, that are balance sheet, P&L items that really drive the company or really give you an indication of performance, right?
Yep.
That's not how you set up your scorecard, though, right? That's what you're saying.
That is correct.
Those are the outcomes you're looking for.
Yeah, so outcomes would be the lagging indicators.
That's right, because they happen at the end of the month. They happen at the end of the quarter. They happen at the end of the week. That's what you log after you do the activity to produce that.
And so leading indicators would be the actions required to get to the desired outcomes.
That's right. So in sales, what are some if you're running a sales team, what would that be? Some leading indicators.
Leading indicators would be how many calls did you make?
There you go. Yeah, how many calls did you make? Or, did you call on 15 people this week? Because if you called on 15 people, our numbers show, or our guess, or our hypothesis is that you'll be able to, set appointments with 30% of them. So you'll have 5 appointments, or 33.33%. You'll set 5 appointments, and then out of those 5 appointments, you'll sell, 20%. So
Is that your real number? That's really good.
Oh, and cold call, stuff like that, yeah.
That's actually really good.
It's not a bad number.
No, not
but
at all.
these are captured market. These are people that are existing customers.
Oh, okay.
Got it. This is such a lame term, marketing universe. But if they're in our marketing universe, they're warm calls, if you will. So that's a good number. So lead measures, yeah. Cold calls or calls in general, not necessarily cold calls. That's a leading indicator.
Right.
That's an activity that will lead to the result that you're looking for. What's another one?
So one of the things that we track is posts per week on social.
That 100%. We are too. Get that content out. Stay top of mind.
Right.
Yeah.
But we even have a little more criteria for it to count on social.
Tell me.
It must be educational. I mean, because like the team at Hatch, is more. We're more awareness focused.
Okay.
So what is bringing awareness to our business?
Okay. So
it's not like we don't count Thanksgiving Day post. you know.
Yeah. FYI, our offices will be closed Monday for Labor Day.
Correct.
We respect and love all the laborers of the world.
Yeah, Labor Day.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever. Okay, leading indicator.
Yeah.
It's tough to get your head wrapped around that, though.
It really is. So what's a leading indicator for you in a service business?
So, well, on the sales side, we would say how many calls did you make? But really, in depending on who they are. So the business development person role, that's just calls. How many contacts did you make? Then how many appointments did you make or actually go to? And then how many proposals did you produce? Then what are the dollars of those proposals? Those are the leading indicators for that role. Then for account managers, how many quality control visits did you do?
Not the dollars that the proposal brought in, but the actual
No. Just what did you propose?
Got it.
And so what we're doing there is if you go same. Let me just finish with the account managers. How many accounts did you go see? How many proposals did you write? What are the dollar amounts for the proposals? Depending on the quarter, if we're really looking for a specific type of work, how many dollars in that specific type of work did you propose? We're just driving activity. Let me say this. One of the best quotes I ever heard on leadership was from who's the Groeschel guy that leads Craig Groeschel.
Yeah.
Man, that guy's brilliant.
He's a brilliant leader.
Dude, he really is. I mean, no knock on Chris Bell. Chris Bell, I think, is probably at that same level as him, but this guy's got a podcast, so I get to hear all of his insights.
Yeah, Craig Groeschel but most pastors are not the advice that they give for the business world. Typically, it's hard to apply.
Okay.
Craig Groeschel leads an organization,
Dude,
like a massive
it's huge
organization. I mean, they have a software company.
Yeah.
They have a music company. And he leads all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so he has multiple organizations inside, as well as preaching on Sunday that he operates.
Yeah.
And so his leadership role is quite it's quite impressive.
He's legit. And so his quote, and I'm going to paraphrase, and I'm probably going to jack this up, but I always remember that. Your number one job as a leader is to direct energy, focus, and resources to the desired outcome. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's so poignant. That's my whole job, is figure out where we're trying to go and direct those resources, the focus of the people, and whatever energy we have collectively towards that outcome. I say that to say that's what your scorecard is designed to do. That's my job, is to set up the scorecard.
You know what it helped me do?
What is that?
It helped me narrow down the actions required
to
get the desired outcome.
So we're jumping to it a little bit, but okay, let me back up to the account managers. How many visits, how many proposals did you write? And what I found, one of the little loopholes would be is you might write 7 proposals, which is 2 more than the 5 required, but they're all for $100, which is $700. And even if you sold all of them, it won't really get us to where we're trying to go. So I need you to sell probably double or maybe 3x the number that we really need it to be. Does that make sense? If you need to sell 5,000 a week just to hit our goals or whatever, then you need to write 15,000 or 10,000 in proposals. That's kind of where I'm sort of closing the loop on those things, and that just takes a little time. But what the scorecard does is direct the energy, the focus, and the resources, the people that we have, their focus, and put it in the direction that you need it to go. And here's the real kicker. Think about all the free-floating anxiety that it reduces by not having to think about everything. If you can just focus on, all right, what I got to do this week, I got to go to 15 people. And when I'm there, I got to look for, and I'm not saying that you need to try to be a sleazy salesperson, but I can guarantee you, if you're a customer and I go to your landscape, there's at least one or two things that I can see that it could need. You don't have to buy it, but that's just good service. You don't need dessert. You don't need a smoked bourbon when you come to my restaurant. You don't need that. Water will be fine, but it's a better experience if I offer you that, right? And it's up to you to say yes or no.
Guess what? When someone comes to my house to do service, if they look at me and say, hey, I noticed, I just had this happen on my well. Hey, I noticed that your filter needed changing. Do you want me to go ahead and do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
even know where the filter was.
I was about to say, I know where it's at. I don't know where to get one.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Will you change? Yes. Yes, I want you to change that. Okay. That will be another $100. Yes. Do that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to shop. I'm not going to shop
you.
You're already there. You're going to save me money.
Yeah. So
what?
Sales in my mind are easy to sort of set up the scorecard once you get an idea. And hopefully, if you need to go back, you can listen to that, and that will help you kind of give you an idea of how that works.
What I found is that all of my indicators were lagging.
Okay. I was going to ask that question. How did it rock your world? And you're saying that it would be all of your indicators were lagging.
Yeah, because I was tracking stuff like, okay, revenue.
Mm-hmm.
Revenue is a lagging indicator.
100%.
So on our scorecard, we took revenue off.
Well, yeah. What was that doing to you when you had lagging indicators? And how did it change when you changed them to leading indicators?
We were inactive is what I saw.
Ah, okay.
We were inactive waiting on money to come in versus going out and creating the activity that is required to bring revenue in.
What are some of the activities?
Post.
Okay.
Phone calls. Have we, in my world, in the media world, can we write complimentary articles around the content we've already produced? So that's one thing that we put on is, are we writing complimentary articles to the books that we just put out? Instead of saying, how many books have we sold?
Getting active.
Right.
I love it.
Yeah. So think about it in your personal life. And this is going to sound, like you said, in the sales world, it sounds a little manipulative at times. But
hit me.
How many positive things have I said to my wife this week?
Oh. Have you ever heard?
Versus what did I get from her?
Keep going.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. How many times have I gave my son an attaboy? How many times have I said, good job to my team members?
Yeah.
So you can take that leading indicator. If you don't like the culture, then change it. And the way that you do that is intentionally setting goals or standards that you do inside of your organization to change the culture. Because how many times do you hear, I just don't like our culture? Well, if you don't like it, set a scorecard that gives you the ability to set indicators that leads to changing the culture. So it just don't go to revenue. It goes everywhere. And that's what, like, when I understood it out of frustration, and it took me a little while to get it, because I would sit and I would listen, like Forrest really like pumped it in my head. And I was like, finally one day I was like, I get it now.
Leading indicators.
Yep.
You ever heard the world is just a mirror?
Right.
You know, if I want positive feedback from my wife or my children or whatever, you know, probably starts with me giving them what I want. How about that? How meta is that?
So,
but either way, back to
think about how we bitch and moan all the time that we're not getting the desired outcomes that we want in our businesses, in our company, and then we're asking our team members to look at things that are lagging, not things that are proactive. We tell them all the time, we want you to be proactive. But we're saying,
here's
we're only
the scorecard.
Here's a scorecard and just track these things, and track revenue.
Yeah.
Not track how many proposals did you write.
Yeah. If you're a small business owner looking to take your business to the next level, listen up. My good friend Chris Francis has spent over 20 years growing his tree care business to national success. Now he's partnered with Rick Miller, you've probably heard him here on the podcast before, Harvard MBA, and business consultant to create Roadmap for Growth, an online course to help you scale, build teams, and create systems that last. It's not just for the tree industry. This course applies to any small service business. Check out treebusiness.com or hit the link on the Overlap homepage to learn more. Look, not all of you have to deal with workman's comp, but those of you that do know that it's time-consuming and it's a headache. Insurance in general feels like something that happens to you rather than for you. But partnering with someone that really knows their stuff, like Chris May, with LTN Insurance, you've heard him before on the podcast, offers you the opportunity to regain control of your insurance. By collaborating with Chris, you have the chance to craft a personalized plan that ensures you receive optimal coverage at the best price. At LTN Insurance, their foremost core value is centered on education rather than sales. Their core value actually says, we don't sell, we educate, because they truly believe in empowering you, the customer, with the knowledge to make informed decisions about your insurance. That's whether you do business with them or not. They want you to be informed. So you can trust Chris and look him up, give him a call, or go to the website, ltninsurance.com. So continue to move on leading indicators other than sales. I think productivity is a tough one, or operations is a tough one. And this is a one, and I'll just give this out to everyone. And it took a couple of years actually for us to figure that out. Is number one, how many people went missing? Absences for the week. Absences for the week were almost a guarantee that we were going to have some issues that week. Then it was how many stops didn't get done that week in the maintenance world, and then in the landscape world, the project world, how many days behind or hours behind schedule are you, or ahead, and so zero's the idea, but ahead of schedule just a little bit, that can be green, but if it's too ahead of schedule, that can be red too. So if you're using 90 to do your scorecards, you can have like a window of for your indicator on the goal. So stuff like that. If you're 10 hours ahead of schedule, maybe that's good, but 11 and beyond is bad because for whatever reason. But absences and stops not complete, those were kind of good leading indicators that would really show us a trend that we could see sooner before it was a big problem that you could start fixing it. Oh man, we had 7 absences. Turns out it's between 2 people or 3 people. Is this an acute issue or is this a chronic issue? 2 of them, it's acute. 1 of them, it's chronic. All right, deal with that person that's chronic. Let's get him out or her, and let's get someone that's going to show up for work. Because we're selling hours, man. If this guy can't be here and produce hours, that we just can't be on the team.
Have you ever heard of the closet principle?
The closet principle?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's kind of a.
Are we talking about homosexuality? What are we talking about?
No, not coming out of the closet.
I didn't know if you had a big announcement.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Yeah, absolutely. You could put that on the intro.
Oh, man.
Have you ever heard of the closet principle?
I have not.
The closet principle is this. It's actually kind of a biblical principle that what is done.
That's probably why I haven't heard it.
What is done in secret will always come out.
Oh, no. I haven't heard that.
Okay.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, what is done in secret
will always be found out.
So if I pick my nose in secret.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Sidebar. I realized I was on a Zoom call the other day, and I had my finger straight up my nose.
Oh, my goodness.
So like.
Sometimes it itches.
Yeah, it did. But then I was like, I hope they didn't see that. Because it was one of those Zoom calls with a bunch of people on it that, you know how it comes up when you speak, and I wasn't speaking, so I hope it didn't show up.
Hopefully not.
But I realized I was digging deep.
Yeah.
But the closet principle. Whatever will be done whatever you do in secret, pretty much comes out eventually.
How about that? Okay, that's nice.
That should
be required learning in high school.
So one of the things, and I'm going to brag on you a little bit.
Okay.
One of the things
it's going to make me. I'm prepared to feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, I know you're going to be very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I do when I go into consult organizations is I look in their closets, like in their office.
Yeah.
Because typically you can tell if a company's having problems the way that they organize their equipment and their utility closet in their building. So one of the first things I'll do when I go consult is I will walk to their wherever they keep their printer.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like when you walk in your office, everything is like organized always. Like not your personal office, but I mean, and that's pretty much organized too. But like I look at where people mingle.
Yeah.
And when you go in and you see disorganizations in organizations in their common spaces, typically it's an indicator of what's going on below the surface.
Cultural.
I
gotcha.
Yeah. So that's the closet principle.
How about that?
I have a friend that always says, a mentor that always says, clean your closet. You'll get insight.
Eminem says that too, I think.
Oh, yeah?
He's got a song about cleaning out his closet.
Really?
We've listened to it working out, I'm positive.
Oh.
Our friend Scott is an Eminem aficionado.
Yep.
I like it. I'd never heard of that.
But that's
it makes perfect sense.
But that's kind of leading and lagging. So, So are you placing organization in your business that is going to provide you clarity down the road?
Yeah.
Because disorganization will always hurt you.
Yep. So to that point, and it's a perfect segue into another portion of operations, which is difficult to get your arms wrapped around leading indicators for success in operations. And one of them, you have probably noticed that there is it's actually called a big ass clock.
I've seen that.
We have a big ass clock at the exit, at sort of as you're driving out, and each department has a goal for departure time each morning. If you can get those guys out quick, or girls, out quick, chances are that route's going to get done. You know, the longer they hang around, 30, 40, 50, 60 minutes, the more time. I mean, it's like making your bed in the morning. you've probably heard all that, right? Just starting the day right. You're starting the day with purpose, with intention, that we're here to work. We're getting after it.
I've not enjoyed that clock being there so much because it shows me how slow I am on a 400.
Yeah, that's a good point.
When it clicks over to the next minute and I'm still running, that's a problem on 400 meters.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although,
I should do it in 60 seconds.
You think?
Yeah, I think so.
You gonna run a 4-minute mile?
I mean, in sprints.
Yeah. Yeah, you should definitely do that. Yeah, you're right. It should be 50 seconds.
Something like that.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but,
But if it's 4 laps, or is it 4 laps?
But now,
6 laps?
After I went to Grandparents' Day today, I'm giving myself some leeway.
You should. You're
Steph and I was definitely the most fit in that building. Yeah,
Steph for sure.
Yeah,
she looked fantastic.
Yeah, she does.
I made sure I told her.
Oh, good.
You're the best looking grandma that's going to be there.
Yeah, that's funny.
Okay. What else you got on leading versus lagging indicators? I mean, I hope people have picked up on that lagging indicators is the result you're looking for. Leading indicators are the activity in which
that it takes to get those outcomes.
Yeah, that it takes to get that outcomes. And it can't be 17 things. It can only be 3, 4, 5 things,
I don't know why it's taken me 47 years to figure that out.
Well, I would venture to say 27 of those years you never thought about it.
Was sure.
So let's break it down to 20.
But I mean, even the goals we make for ourselves.
Well,
I want to lose 20 pounds.
There we go. This is going to be the last thing. You're segueing right into it. Carry on. Take it from there. Yep.
I want to lose 20 pounds.
Cool. You want to lose 20 pounds by when?
As quick as I can.
Oh.
That's what everybody says. I need to lose. Have you ever talked to a dude and he's not said, man, I just want to lose 15 pounds or whatever?
Yeah.
And he never tells you how he's going to get there?
Always my first response is, cool, by when?
Yeah.
And then, oh, man.
Yeah, how are you going to get there?
And I just usually say when. That just starts the thought process.
Yeah.
And they'll go, oh, I don't know. 5 months. Great. 5 months, I feel like that's reasonable. Cool. You can work with that. Then the next question is, how are you going to do it?
Right. What are you putting in place? What are you eating?
Yeah, man. And with the tools that you have in your hands nowadays, it's so easy to figure that out.
Yeah, that's another podcast.
But the MyFitnessPal app is just great. And then if you just get active 3 days a week and you watch what you eat, you're gonna be good. What do I got to do? That's another podcast. We can talk about that. But I would highly recommend you go see Scott Miller at Signature Training Studio, or come to RX Sport Fit.
Yeah,
whatever.
You got to come to RX Sport Fit.
Or you just come train jiu-jitsu. I promise you, you're going to lose weight just trying to survive. Yeah. Right, Tim? That's right. Absolutely, he says. We're going to get Tim into the jiu-jitsu gym.
Yeah, we are. Hey, guys, I want to tell you about my friend Wes Cody. He's the president of C2 Wealth Strategies, a financial advisory firm dedicated to providing personalized solutions for your financial needs. Wes and his team of professionals are passionate about helping clients create wealth and achieve financial freedom. At C2 Wealth Strategies, they believe in taking a holistic approach to financial planning and are committed to building long-lasting relationships with their clients, ensuring their financial well-being every step of the way. Don't leave your financial future to chance. Contact Wes and C2 Wealth today at c2wealth.com to schedule a consultation. Let Wes and his team help you build your financial future.
I want to take a moment to talk about someone who's been instrumental in my personal and business success. That's Johnny Barranco and his team at Barranco & Associates. For over 7 years, Johnny has been my go-to accountant and financial consultant. I can tell you that he's more than just a tax preparer. Johnny takes a holistic approach to all my financial dealings, aligning them with my long-term plans and personal lifestyle. I've recommended Johnny to several friends throughout different business groups around the country, and the feedback has been nothing short of exceptional. His expertise and service are top-notch. So if you're looking for someone who not only prepares your taxes, but also helps you strategize for the future, Johnny and his team at Barranco & Associates are the ones to call. Trust me, you won't regret it. So contact Johnny Barranco today and take the first steps towards financial peace. You're not going to regret this. Let's get back to leading indicators for losing weight. Let's use that analogy, and we'll run through that because it's really good to help people understand it. So, you want to lose 10 pounds. What are you going to do, Keith? Number one, by when?
Well, I want to lose 10 pounds, but in just let's be reasonable.
Okay,
60 days.
10 pounds in 60 days. That's a lot. Okay, 5 pounds a month.
Yeah,
that's more than a pound a week.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
But I think anybody should be able to lose 10 pounds in 60 days.
Well, it depends on who you are. I don't know that I could lose 10 pounds. Well,
I've seen you lose 10 pounds in 1 week.
I have done that. It's not it's not sustainable. It's not.
No, you look sad.
I did look very, very sad.
But, okay, so 60 days.
Okay. What are you going to do?
How many times you got to go to the gym that week?
It depends. What's your plan? I would probably say 6 days.
Okay.
If it's 60 days, you got to go a lot.
Yeah, and then who are you going to have? I mean, are you going to write that plan yourself? You think you know?
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah.
No one knows.
So let's say you've got a plan.
Yeah.
You've got a plan. You're going to lift weights 4 days a week. You're going to do cardio 2 days a week.
Yeah.
And, long
and then you're going to walk. And then you're going to walk at night.
You're going to walk every night.
Yeah.
So if you track that and you track your
are you going on keto? You're going to go on keto? You're going to cut bread out? Are you going to go on Weight Watchers? Are you going to eat low fat? What?
Yeah.
So what plan are you going to put in your dietary?
Right.
And then what are you going to do to move your body? Because we know that you need to move your body.
Yeah.
Or are you going to take the easy route and take Ozempic?
God, that's another podcast too. Oh my God, I didn't even think you were going to go there.
Yeah, but I mean,
don't do Ozempic.
No, Ozempic face is a thing.
It really is. I shouldn't say that. I'm not a medical professional, but my personal opinion, that's very limited and not professional in any way, is don't take Ozempic unless there's something special.
Well,
special need.
Okay,
there's some special. There's some special reasons.
I'm saying this for a very great friend of ours, but, Peter Attia told me. It's good.
Peter Attia is not a fan of Ozempic.
No, he's not.
Yeah,
not at all.
Hey, speaking of podcasts, if you need to mix them up between ours, Peter Attia has a great one. It's called The Drive. Is it The Drive?
It is The Drive. Yeah.
All right.
Molly, we like him no matter if
Dr.
you do
Miller.
or not.
Dr. Miller doesn't listen to this. She's too smart for that. All right. So if you want to lose weight, you're going to have a plan, and then you're going to track the activity. The activity is how many times did I do cardio this week? And let's say that is defined by 30 minutes of, whatever, rowing or biking or whatever, Zone 2 cardio, if you want to get real nerdy about it. Then how many days am I lifting weights? And you've got a 4-day weight lift program. And I lifted 4 days this week. I ran or cardio 2 days this week. Boom. That's a great, you crushed it for the week. Then you've got your nutrition. What were my calorie intakes for the week? My calorie intake was 14,000 calories. What was my goal? My goal was 13,800. So you were 200 calories over. Is that good or bad? You can sort of decide, and then you can dial it in and figure out where you went wrong on that week.
Right.
But if you do those things, and we're assuming that 14,000 calories is the goal, is the leading indicator to get you where you're trying to go, there's lots of applications that'll help you with that. But if those are the leading indicators, that's the activity that you have to do to get to lose 10 pounds in 60 days, which I still say that's a tough job. But if you do those things, it's not a surprise. It won't be a shock. It will just be math that gets you there, If you do the work, the result will be there. But everyone gets lost in the end result. They're stepping on the scale and all that stuff. And I don't think you even need to step on the scale. Maybe at 30 days, or maybe at 15, and then 30, and then 45, and then 60, but not every day.
No.
Because it won't matter. Leading indicators.
Yeah. Look at the indicators that are driving your business and see if you're like positioning yourself to succeed.
It could be
I found out that I wasn't.
It could be how much cash did we sock away this month.
Correct.
That would be the lagging indicator. The leading indicator could be how much are we billing out,
Yep.
Or it could be what was our overhead this week, what was our expenses every week, and it's got to stay below a certain number because we know we've got real stable revenue, but it's the overhead that we sort of lose. So we'll track our overhead expenses.
Right.
I mean, there's just lots of ways to do that depending on what your business is like. But it needs to be leading. And I promise you, switching up that scorecard every 90 days, especially for the first couple of years, is probably going to be the best way to get a good scorecard. You're not going to get it right the first, second, maybe third time.
You know who can help you actually with that revenue indicator?
Who?
Johnny Barenko.
Oh, my goodness. Look at the segue. Golly, you're like Ben Shapiro over there.
I know.
But first.
Yeah, I mean, get a good accountant.
Dude,
and Johnny's a good one. He's one of our sponsors.
Johnny has been my accountant for like a decade now, and I'm hard on accountants because I've got real strong beliefs in numbers. But we speak the same language, and he's there just helping me get to where I'm trying to go.
A good accountant knows the things that you need to place in your organization to limit exposure.
That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah. So go check our sponsors out.
Yeah.
And if you like this episode, talk about it, rate it.
Share it. Yeah, just, talk about it.
Share it with your friends.
Like, subscribe, share. Hey, support the sponsors. They really make this thing possible. And really, for real, we're putting out a lot of content that you may have questions about. Please, 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 just shoot us some messages. LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Ask us a question.
We're trying to be more consistent on social too, so just bear with us. We're going to get there.
You'll actually help us be more consistent by
talking to us,
pinging us with a question. So,
yep.
All right. I think that's it. That's it. Anything else?
Nope.
So, leading indicators rocked Keith's world.
It did.
Hopefully, they'll rock
even
yours.
In my personal life. I told you, I'm trying to be nicer to my wife.
And we're all happier for it. All right. Thanks so much for listening.
See you. Peace.
Peace.